Hi, this is your astrologer Kira on a very slow and rainy day here in Serbia, in Belgrade. And I'm so sorry, but I had to cut my weekly astrological forecast, and I'm so into that Mercury in Taurus when I'm slow and steady. And while I was doing my weekly astrological videos, the only thing my mind was focused on was the bowl with strawberries in my fridge, and I had to go and I had to eat the strawberries, paying the price to doing my lipstick repair and so on. But I did it, and now I have the stomach full of strawberries and I'm calm. And I know people will hate me for cutting the video in two, but I'm sorry, those things happen. Today I wanted to show you one great book because tomorrow I have to return it to the library. This is the Serbian edition, Diogenes Laërtius, Lives and Opinions of Famous Philosophers. Diogenes Laërtius. In Serbian it's called Diogenes Laërtius, and in Greek this is Diogenes Laërtiou. And original, I don't know if you can see, this is original, I don't have English title, but I think the book is called The Lives and Opinions of the Famous Philosophers. And I will try to read it in Greek because I know Greek letters from my mathematical courses. Bioi, Hai, Gamma, Eta, Omega, Micro, Alpha, I. Gaumau da tuan da filosofia any non it's better for me not to do it. Why this book is so important? Because, and I have to tell you some things, I will include some links for other people's short videos which are not related to the reading, which are not related to this book at all, but they are related to being rich and being successful in life and being educated, because people are not poor because of their nation, race, geographical position. People are poor because they lack of skills, and they lack of ambition, and they are not hungry, as would great Les Brown say, are you hungry? As this Asian guy, Dan Locke, I think his name is, would say, are you hungry enough? When all of those successful people are talking all the time about the importance of reading, how the rich people read all the time because books expand their mind, and as would the greatest physician of all time, Isaac Newton, say, I didn't do anything, I just stood on the shoulders of the giants who discovered many things before me, and then it was easy for me to found a new physics in this world, and this physics is called Newtonian physics by the Isaac Newton. So I'm standing on the shoulders of many giants, and I cannot talk to some great intellectual people around me because I don't have the means to reach them. I don't have enough money to go to the same business club or to attend a seminar or something like that, but I can read the book, and I don't even have the money to buy the book. I will go to the library and I will borrow the book, and this book is from the library. I read this book more than 15 years ago, and I was amazed with this book because this Diogenes Laërtius, he lived around second or third century, and he wrote about many Greek and I think Roman philosophers. This book is full of Greek philosophers, and as we all know, or as we who read something about philosophy know, the Socrates is the greatest. There is some bunch of people around him who were very clever, but in this book you can find about their lives, and I have some pigeons here on the other side of the window. Rain is falling outside, they are hiding. you can find in this book their lives described in such great ways that it's like you're reading the fiction books about some great people who lived in ancient times, and their thoughts while they were doing something completely different in their lives, eating figs and guarding sheep and doing something like that. So this is one book I highly recommend, and this is one moment I will never forget. I found in this book a story about the man on E is his name, Epimenides, something like that. And this Diogenes Laërtius wrote about Epimenides like he was one of the philosophers, but he said he was nothing special, but one event which happened in his life was very special, and this is why he's included in this book. Epimenides was a plain shepherd, and he guarded his sheep somewhere on the islands of Greece or in the area of today's Greece, in mountains. And one day he felt very sleepy. Everything was peaceful around him, and he found one cave, entered into that cave, and fell asleep. And the thing he didn't know is that he was sleeping for the next 57 or 58 years in that cave. He was in the state of hibernation. And when he woke up, he went outside and found out that, that there are no of his sheep, and he was out of his mind. And then he went down there to the village and found out that his children were grown and now grandfathers and grandmothers. His wife died long ago, and how everything changed around him. And he was known as one of the philosophers only by the fact that he had slept for 57 or 58 years of his life. And this is one story I remembered just like that. And I remembered one moment when I read this book was fresh in my mind, and I had exhibition up there in the museum. We had some collective exhibition, and I was one of the members. I don't want to talk about it right now, great memory. But this was something special, and the artistic students gathered from all over the world to spend 2 weeks there and to create some artistic work, and then to have the opening, the closing exhibition. The first and the last night of our exposing our works was held 2 weeks after we met, and went through many lectures and watching artistic movies and doing our stuff and something like that. And I had some friends from the other town. We all became great friends. And my child was 5 at that time. This was 2004. And I remember this was one young guy. He was a few years younger than me, and he was doing some electronic arts on the University of Art in the other town, and programming and editing and so on. And I can remember that he went here in my neighborhood because I live very near the museum, and I found him sitting on the basketball ground because we have one of the playgrounds is arranged like a basketball ground, and younger men are gathering there. And I walked out of the shop and saw him there, and I sat beside him and asked him, "What are you doing here?" And he told me, "I'm all night on this basket field because it was summer, it was horribly warm, and I don't want to go there and sleep there because I cannot sleep from them," and blah blah blah. And then we started talking, and then I mentioned this book, and then I started describing the stories from his book, this book, and he was amazed. and all the guys gathered around us to listen the stories about the lives of philosophers, because I just talked about the book, and in book those lives are described phenomenally well. It's a very interesting book. You could say this is the big book. Yes, it's the big book, it's great, but it's written in such a style, and I cannot understand that the guy who lived in the 2nd or 3rd century could write in such an interesting style. But I'm amazed, and I will recommend this book all the time. And for people who want to found their own personal libraries, this is one book you have to have in your home. Lightning started, now the thunder will be heard. It doesn't matter. And I wanted to tell you why, because all those people who are pointing into getting rich and successful are talking about founding your own library, reading books and reading books and reading books, and being hungry and being hungry. And underneath this video I will include several shorter videos of other people who are successful and who came all over the world and who started out of zero. And this Dan Lok, he's Asian guy, he didn't have nothing, and he was the yellow guy, but he became very rich and very famous, and he for himself talks about reading books. All other guys in all videos are talking about discipline, being hungry, and reading books, because from the books we get great ideas. So this is it for this video. Love you all. Bye.